So let's talk about finding a ransomware attack. And the first thing they did here was if I was find the IP address and then the signature. I guess I'll start with that. I'll follow their program a little bit. All right, so but I've learned more fun ways to do it. So we're trying to find the IP address of this thing, We8105 desk. All right. So to find that, you can just go to your search engine and just search for that. Find events with that string in it. And we should find 181,000 events referring to that endpoint. So that's going to be a lot, but it's moving right along. All right. And now I wanted to look at the source and go to the streams that will tell me about this IP address. So if I go to source, all right. So here's types of data. And LDAP is Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. That's what Microsoft uses to register devices on the network. And that's the stuff to look at if you're just trying to find the IP address of a specific named endpoint. That should do it. Now we have an LDAP message. This is Web 1005 desk, and someplace in here we'll find the IP address. I think it's just the source of those messages. Let's see. And they wanted to find it on a specific day, 24 August 2016. So this is 24 August 2016. Okay. And so this would be the destination IP there. Here's the source IP. I'm pretty sure it's this source IP. 250.100 is the IP of that. And there's a more fun way to find it than what I knew when I wrote those hints that I'd like to get to. So let's go back to the beginning here. If I just go back to the heart of search and say we're looking for trouble again. This is threat hunting, right? You have a network and you want to see what's wrong. And just want to see if something bad is happening. So I'm going to start on the data summary here when it responds. Okay. And one thing we haven't taken advantage of yet that is just asking for it is the intrusion detection system. Obviously, that's the whole point of the thing. It should be finding bad stuff. So let's look at the IDS report. Down here is Suricata. So let's look at these Suricata events. And again, I think I'm going to turn up the sampling to make it faster. 1 in 10. All right. It's finding nothing because I didn't change this to all time. All right, now it should find some Suricata events. And it does, 12,000 events. So I can look at the alert signature, and this tells me about various things that might have gone wrong, possible attempt of this, attempt of that, and so on. All right. And so I can go down here and look for signature. There's a way to tell alerts from other objects. Suricata reason. All right, having trouble. Oh, here it is, event type. This is what I was looking for. Here's the types of events from Suricata. See, a lot of them are not threats. Flow, HTTP, DNS, TLS. This is the one that's probably more interesting, the attack. And now, if I look at the signature might do, And these are relatively minor things, XXE, system, entity, and so on. If I go to rare values, you'll find the ransomware attack just right here. That's what I was looking for. And I'm going to write up the instructions to make this a little easier. But, all right. I'm going to go back to my original path because I haven't got it. So we're going to look at it among this. So here, we're just going to start from knowing its server. I was able before to actually find the server without any prior knowledge, which I wanted to show you, but I haven't written it up yet, and I can't reconstruct it now. So I'm going to follow my old track where we know there's server ransomware, which, by the way, is reasonable because when you get hit by ransomware, it's not subtle. It's going to pop up a box someplace saying, we have encrypted your stuff and you need to pay the ransom. So it's not a secret when you get hit by ransomware. So let's search for server, and I'm going to turn on some sampling for that and search for all time. All right. Go, I say. There we are. All right, so a lot of events have server, and they're all on August 24. At least most of them are. All right, find 21,000 events, which I would if I didn't have the sampling on. Now I go to source, and there are 3 values. There should be 4, and I want to look at the suricata, so I'm going to turn off my sampling to see them all. So everything that mentions server, and I want the suricata alerts here, suricata events that mention server. And here are these 5 events. And you can just read them to trace it out, and you can also see what happens right here on the timeline. There are 3 events at 9:49 a.m. and then 2 events at 10:15, half an hour later. So you can trace out just what happened here. If you start at the bottom, right here at 9:49 p.m., it detected that somebody was running Trojan ransomware and it was checking in. Then it tried another check-ins. This is 9:49:24, and this is 1 minute later. It tries checking in a couple of times. Check-in error ICMP response. Then half an hour later, it now does an onion domain lookup which is where it goes to load over Tor a page to ask for the ransom. And here's another onion domain lookup. So in that half hour, it spent that time encrypting the files. So, all right. And now, if we want to find the address of the ransomware note, then one way to do it is to focus yourself down to this time range and then look at DNS-related fields. That's a way. You can get to the actual exact onion domain that it went to. And what's another interesting thing is to find out, why did you get infected? So I want to see the web traffic here. So if I look at the source IP, let's try this one. I start with suricata events on 24 August. So I start with suricata. Let's just go back to the root of it all. All right. And then we go to suricata. And I want to find events on that day, 24 August 2016. So I have to choose a specific day. So I'll go down here, and 24 August 08 24 2016. All right, there's my 8. All right. Didn't let me copy and paste. There we are, 824 to 825. There. All right. And I should find 86,579 of them. All right, good. Now I look at the source IP field. And you see them here, and this is the one I remember from before, 250.100. That's the IP address of the endpoint that got infected. And now we look at the event type. Which is down here. And we want to see the web pages that were loaded. We're trying to find out how this person got infected. That gets us down to 38 events, and we can look at these host names, which are here. HTTP host name. So here's what that person has been doing. They've been going to Microsoft, Bing, Acronis, an IP address, and this funny sounding domain. And that is the malicious domain, Solidarity Proximity. That is a malicious domain, and we can learn more about that malicious domain. But of course, the question here, they just want to know the malicious domain, but you can, in fact, learn more about it by just Googling it, which is very helpful. If you just look for that malicious domain, here's anatomy of a ransomware attack posted by a security company, Netscope. And this is full of useful indicators of compromise. This will give us lots of clues to hunt down more about this attack. This tells you that it comes from Microsoft Word documents with macros in them. It then loads this image, which has a file name in here someplace. And the image then loads a VB script file that creates is created by a shell script that gives it a random name and executed using wscript.exp. And that's what downloads this image, which is called mhtr.jpg. And there's malware in the image, which it runs. And then it drops a random named exe binary in app data. And then it brings out a payload. It encrypts all your files with common extensions, puts up this ransom note, and then it drops a Visual Basic file with this name, #decryptmyfiles.vbs. So a ton of information here to help us track down this event. All right, and that's enough for now. I'm going to stop this one and make a separate video following some of those clues.